to it.
Just bear with me. I'm a tiny bit nervous, but should be good. All right. So, hi guys, welcome to the channel. In this video, we have a very special guest, Tim Yesser, the CEO and founder of Koin Games. Thank you so much for joining us, Tim. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks
So,
for having me.
no worries. So, I just want to jump straight into it. So, Tim, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe how you found yourself along this pathway to Koin Games, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm some 37 years old. I'm originally from South Africa, and I grew up there till age 5. Moved to America, where I am right now. And I was a nerdy kid most of my life, so fairly introverted. So gaming was kind of right up my alley, and really enjoyed just the fantasy world you could go live in and escape from the real world. So I, kind of grew up playing every system known to man, and really found my love for gaming in everything from Contra to World of Warcraft was a big one, Skyrim. I mean, a bunch of the different games over the years. Almost every console I believe I've played extensively. Obviously, got into Call of Duty, Halo. Would do LAN parties at my house, and just love gaming. Was always really quite introverted, actually, up
Mm.
until about 18 years old. And a combination of going to Bible school, and I got a degree in theology, as well as getting my first sales job where, I've kind of made my career, turned everything around from a social perspective. So for me, getting into sales, I realized I had a skill of talking to people, and that slowly progressed into me leading sales teams. And so my career kind of blossomed with a door-to-door sales company called Vivint. And, I've been able to build huge teams there over the last number of years. It's been an incredible journey. I've got, close to 600 guys working for me, multiple managers. We'll bring in about $200 million, or brought in about $200 million for the company last year, my group,
Wow.
and, on track to do more this year. And so, it was, for Koin Games kind of began at this intersection of always loving gaming and all things, fantasy, and, whether it's reading, the Lord of the Rings trilogy or Harry Potter, these fantasy worlds, Ender's Game that we can go live in, fantasy movies, Star Wars, you name it. I mean, I love all of that stuff. And then gaming. And then this skill set that I was able to develop in the sales world, where I'm running teams, building an organization, finding talent, developing people, recruiting. I mean, just how to run a full company basically that brings in, hundreds of millions of dollars. That kind of came together at the beginning of this year, 2021, where I was actually reading that article. I don't know if you read the Beeple article, but the article about him selling that $69 million painting, or
Yeah,
JPEG.
I have seen it.
And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I was amazed by the idea of a $70 million image
Mm.
on a computer. That just didn't make any sense to me. And so I deep dived into the idea behind this $69 million digital image,
Hmm.
and started to understand what NFTs were, as well as this new era of art and the ability to attach digital assets to a line of code and create something physical in this world of the internet. And it was kind of just one of those light bulb moments of,
Mm.
this is definitely the future of where things are headed. I started asking myself, will my kids collect physical, like
Mm.
Pokemon cards, or will my kids collect a digital version of that? And it just makes sense that, you can carry it around on your phone.
Mm.
You can't fake them. They don't deteriorate. Um, you can flex the collection on your social media coming up soon, And it was just one of those moments that, because this is a better form of collectibles ownership, and it's giving a level of physicality to this digital world that these upcoming generations believe in more, it's just going to be better. And then I started thinking about the gaming side of it. I mean, my goodness, I spent years of my life, years playing World of Warcraft. And I had one of the highest ranked characters on the server for PvP. I used to, be one of the top people in my guild. I had tons of characters, tons of tricked out characters at all different levels. And at the end of the day, when I left that game, none of that value came with me other than the entertainment, which I loved it. I would have no regrets. I would still play that game, right? But it didn't, I wasn't working in an ecosystem that I had some control over. So when I realized that blockchain gaming allows the player to own their assets, they can trade them, sell them, give them away, but even just value them. They can look on the open market and realize this little weapon that my guy just got after months and months of playing, that weapon is on the blockchain and I own it, and it's only 100 of them. And other players want this item. I'm not going to sell it, but I know I could for X amount of dollars. How much richer is that gaming experience? And when the masses of gamers out there, passionate gamers, realize that this asset ownership play to earn world is here and has begun and is starting to grow, when good games come into this space, and that's really the key, we have to have good games, and that's obviously what we're endeavoring to do at Koin Games. But when that happens, I think we see one of the most amazing transfers of value and people from one type of industry into another sector within that industry. And so, yeah, I mean, I think play to earn gaming is the future of gaming. And, for me, it's about positioning myself at the front of that wave that's inevitably coming. So, yeah, I read the article, had this light bulb moment, and then just kind of sat there as I thought about a really cool game that could start with these NFT collectibles. You could create NFTs in the game, an auto chess kind of supercell, fast-paced auto battler style game with a couple unique twists that nobody's doing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, if I don't do this, somebody else will. That's so right. So I just made the decision to jump in. I reached out to the couple contacts I had in the crypto world, some really smart guys that had a lot of success in other projects. They listened to my pitch and they agreed to take me on as a client. A few weeks later, they actually refunded my money that I was paying them for advisory. And they said, listen, we want to be a part of the company. So here's your money back. And in fact, we want to invest, over $500,000 ourselves into the early stages of this. And, the rest is history. We started hiring artists, blockchain developers. We're over 25 people now that are working part to full time at Koin Games. And we're on our way to developing a AAA blockchain play to earn, fast-paced supercell style battle game. And so, then you fast forward about 4 months into the development, we were still kind of figuring out like, what do you do next? What comes next? The arts, the this, the that, and then I bought my first NFT. As I was saying to you right before the interview started, I bought the Doge Pound, and I just was like, let me just see what this is all about. These guys are all excited about this stuff. I was like, who knows if this Doge Pound one will do well, but if Doge ever pumps again, like probably these will be popular. So I minted 7 of them, and then I got into their community. And while I'm in their community, within the first day, I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is not about this picture of a dog. This is about the community behind the picture of the dog, and it's finding your people. And immediately, like, another light bulb moment went off because we named our company Koin Games, which obviously sounds like a, crypto coin, Bitcoin, whatever, with a K, but it's actually it's the first 4 letters from a Greek word konoa or konoia, which is means community in the Greek. And so we actually stand for community games, or we like to call it, community built and owned games. And so I realized that NFTs in particular were this perfect vehicle to find your group of people. Because I said from like day one to one of my best friends who's, a part of the Koin Games team, I said, dude, we're going to make a freaking video game together. Like, how amazing is this? And then I was like, we need to invite other people to do this with us. Like, I just know they're like, why is because in my current work, it's like, I'm all about building communities. So I love people. I love communities. That's actually what I feed off of. So I was like, I don't want to do this by myself. I want to do this with thousands of other people. But how do you determine who are those people? Like, do you just invite anybody? And I realized this avatar project was a perfect way to have an item that we could sell that would help us locate our people, our holders, our dev squad. And then from there, those people could help us build the game. And then, obviously I said, well, I'm going to sell this, but let me go ahead and make it so that everyone who buys one, and I know you got in before Mint, so you got a couple at least at the floor, right? But I said to myself, okay, if I can make it so that I'm more than, whatever, 100 times over pay these holders back, like it won't matter that, it's not like, oh, you sold that to make some money. Like, of course, we're using the money to develop the game. But it really was never about that. It was about finding our people. And so we did that. So we launched, we had a, mint price of 0.07. As you remember, we sold out in about 5 minutes, which was really awesome. The floor then went to 0.2, then I think to 0.3, then came back down to 0.2. And then, then it's slowly been rising. We only have 6% of our avatars available on the open market now, which is crazy, 6.5%. We have a collection of 5,555 avatars. I think you told me you have how many now?
I think, 41.
41, yeah.
41.
So
quite a bit.
Yeah. And what's crazy is as we've actually gone down, we actually went from 1,900 holders down to like 18 something.
Mm-hmm.
We've risen back up to over 1,900 again. But during that time, our top holders have increased their holdings. So the people that like fully understand what's going on, they're buying more. They're like going like, hey, this is the calm before the storm. Let's get in. So yeah, it's been really fun. And the community's been phenomenal. As you've seen, we are building, we're literally designing the game with the players, like we've, every week we put in 2 to 3 new heroes in the chat. We ask for opinions on the designs, and then we let the community name the characters. They literally submit the names. We don't submit them as a company. We're literally not even submitting the names. It's being submitted by our community, and then we narrow it down to like 5 options out of the hundreds of submissions, and then 5 to 7 options, and then we put it back to the community, and they literally pick the name. And sometimes they pick a name that I'm like, dude, that's so awesome, and other times I'm like, why did they pick that? That name sucks. But anyway, that's just my opinion. But other people on our team are like, dude, that name is so cool. This is what it means in the Greek or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. But so we've been just building away, and it's been really cool. So that's kind of how we got to here. Behind the scenes, we're doing a lot of stuff, talking to a lot of companies about partnerships, both for the immediate future and then the distant future. And we have a long runway. We've got about 1.5 years minimum, I would say, before we'll have a playable game. Because we're not building a good game in crypto standards. We want to build a good game in gaming standards. I want IGN to give us a high rating. And I want to be competing with the top mobile game companies. And then, who knows what comes next. We have a lot of ideas on different types of games we can build once our studio is executed on this first one. But yeah, it's been an awesome ride so far.
No, that sounds great. I guess, like, moving forward, Bloodline. So the game that you're actually developing in the next 1.5 to 2 years, can you tell us a little bit more about Bloodline? And actually, could you tell us actually first about this mini game? Because this mini game is meant to be coming out in the next year?
Yeah, 2 months or so.
2 months, yep. So how is that working out? How is that developing so far?
So the mini game is actually it's kind of a unique thing. So the first thing, of course, is that NFTs move fast, right? That. So now we have a great holder base. Like, I feel like most of our guys have settled in. Okay, this is not my quick flip project. This is like my long-term project. And I can't tell you how often in a week I see the same comment, which is, this is the only project I don't worry about, right?
Yeah.
Everything else, when NFTs are dropping, I'm like freaking out, but this one I don't, right? So I think that's cool. I love those comments, but the truth is that two years is a long time. Even for me to wait, right? And so we started talking about how do we kind of entertain the community while we wait on the real deal. And one of the ideas that came across from some of my full stack developers who actually don't have gaming development experience, they're just they just know how to run servers and do different environments and all that, and obviously build a website and whatnot, is like, why don't we make a mini game of some kind, even if visually it's not fancy at all, and make it one, to entertain the group, give them something to do, give them something to battle in or whatever. And then we started realizing that we could actually take elements of the main game, certain mechanics like the mana bar and the progression from round 1 to round 5, and the different card shuffling mechanics, and the pin your card and the reshuffle mechanic, and some of those elements, and we could work some of them into this game. A, to make sure that they're fun, because I mean, you don't really know until you play them, right?
Yeah.
And then B, to actually start getting some actionable, if you would, data on some of our math equations that will play in the underneath of the video game. You know, do these classes match up? Does this mechanic work? Does this mechanic work? Now, so we started exploring that idea. We realized we couldn't make a fully 3D automated game, because then, you know, that'll push out a year and a bit, and we may as well just make the actual game, right? So, and forget about the mini game. So I've kind of put I've put some of my freelance guys on the mini game, as well as we've got like an indie game developer who's a friend of mine, who is launching his second indie game all by himself. He does the music, the animations, everything. But he's helping us kind of as a side project for him, just for fun. I've got some really smart guys working the math stuff in it. So it's essentially like a card battler. So it's similar in some concepts, but instead of 3D moving characters, we're just doing cards. And we're kind of doing almost like a King of the Hill. We haven't really even talked about this, but it's kind of like a King of the Hill concept, where 2 cards will match up, and then the one that wins stays, and the other one, and you kind of deploy your cards in order. So we kind of had to rethink some of the mechanics of the main game and reshape them with this new format. So we'll see how it plays out. It's a hybrid, so some things could work actually really well, and other things could be like, hey, that doesn't work in this type of game. So we'll see. But the goal is to have the alpha version available only to the dev squad. So like, this will not be public. No one will be able to even see this, right? And in fact, the alpha version might only be available to a small part of the dev squad, because we want to kind of be able to test it, play with it. It's not meant to be like any indication of the quality of game we're building for the full mini game, because it's really almost a analytics engine in a way to test things, test theories. So we're doing a pretty quick visual put together. Like, I mean, that's why we're building it in 2 months, right? So there's not a lot there, right? But yeah, so that's going to be pretty cool, and that will work in conjunction with the battle pass that we just dropped. So you'll have your battle pass. Your battle pass will almost be like your dynamic stat card for your interactions with the mini game. So as you get wins and losses, win streaks, different things, that data will then match up on your battle pass, and you can kind of show off what you've done. Also, the daily tokens that you get for holding avatars, which are going to be going on the battle pass, those will work in the mini game. And we have a couple ways that we're going to integrate that. So the mini game is I guess partial entertainment and part analytics engine for our dev squad in the meantime. And then the actual development of Bloodline. So
that will all be on the browser. And are any benefits from playing this game? Are there any benefits that tie in outside of the battle pass for the mini game? Will we be able to earn it?
So our goal long term is to make it that the cards that you actually get, the hero cards, will like merge into the game. So you'll have that where you can kind of use your actual cards that you collected. As far as benefits go, I definitely want to incentivize people, because we've talked about the idea that the battle token on the actual battle pass will eventually convert into the in-game token in the game. So I don't just want people like holding the token. Like, I want them to actually spend it and use it in the battle game. So I think that what we probably will do is like very custom skins that are only available to people who have done certain things inside the mini game.
Wow.
Unique NFTs, some things that you cannot get unless you play the mini game. So I mean, I think that we'll do that, again, to reward our dev squad holders. But I think we have a few ideas.
And so these skins, they'll be similar to our avatar skin. So we'll be able to see that in a physical game. Yeah. So you could essentially be able to look back and go, this guy played the mini game. When the game first came out, he's been there since the beginning. he's done this special little
Yeah,
event, and now he's got this skin to forever immortalize in the blockchain, essentially.
that you never could have got if you didn't either buy it from them
Yep.
or play the mini game yourself. So yeah, absolutely. Into Bloodline,
Yeah, that's
the
right. Yeah.
main game for Bloodline is it's kind of a hybrid of what I would call an auto battler and like auto chess, right? So when you enter the game, if you enter through like the free to play model, so that's one of the things we are going to do differently, is that most of these crypto games have a really high barrier of entry, where we're going to create a way in with free to play so that the masses can come in, non-crypto people can come in and be introduced to the concept of blockchain gaming with asset ownership and in-game tokens via a free-to-play on-ramp, which I think is the formula to an amazing game. So you'll come in, you will watch the storyline, which is really cool, and then you'll create your avatar, right? So you'll actually create your first character yourself. He's your avatar. You only ever have one. He represents you. And then the storyline progresses, and you get introduced to the fact that you're recruiting your hero squad, which you are kind of like again, I'm not going to kind of talk too much about the storyline, but you essentially have the ability to work in with synergy with your battle squad, and what you equip to your guy affects your deck of cards. What the pet you choose to partner with, your weaponry, your armor that goes on your avatar affects this deck that you're building. And so then you'll go and you'll be given some free cards. They likely will not be NFTs, the first free ones, just so that there's no, we don't want to have people creating thousands of accounts to farm these, NFTs. So those will be non-NFTs, but the first 30 cards that you get will introduce you to the idea of building a squad. And then you'll start making decisions. Do I want to make a nature-based squad, and then maybe an ice-based squad as the secondary, nature, ice, or fire and dark, or light and storm, or whatever, right? And you'll have these 6 clans to choose from. And very much like World of Warcraft, there'll be trade-offs depending on how many cards you use from a certain clan. The clan itself will get stronger in your deck the more cards you have from that clan. And then the same goes for the classes that you choose. Do you go a very heavy rogue deck that has certain mechanics? Do you go a very heavy hunter-based deck, more ranged battles? And then so you spend time, probably geeking out for hours, customizing this perfect deck, all the while knowing that what you equip to your avatar also influences a big part of your deck. Like if you choose to give your avatar, if you unlock like a big bow, like for a hunter, for your avatar, every hunter card in your deck, every hunter class hero gets a buff, right? So you might have 7 hunters in your deck, and then so you get a drop, and you go and then you equip this hunter bow, and now a big part of your deck just got a bonus, right? And so there's some really cool mechanics that allow for like endless replayability. We have even like some ideas about certain weapons that you have, if they match with the weapon of the actual hero, that turns him into almost like a super version of a hero, superhero, whatever. And he has certain elements, and obviously just the flex as well.
Yeah,
Maybe when he lands on the board, the ground shakes or whatever. So that's kind of the mini game outside of the game. And then when you load into the game itself, it turns into a 3D rendered board with actual 3D characters, very much like Supercell's, Clash Royale, where you actually drop characters on the board. So imagine that, or Dota Underlords, or Teamfight Tactics, where you're deploying your 3D characters onto a chessboard. And then it's the one thing we're doing very differently from these auto battler chess games is that we're not doing like the combinations where it's this endless, 8 versus 8 like round robin battle where you're kind of combining characters, and those, in my opinion, are kind of chaotic, where you're having to decide who to deploy, and you're trying to understand the synergies in the different classes. We've moved that part of it out of the game, where you do it before you ever get in. The synergies are really created more so when you build your deck. So you have hours to focus on those mechanics, and then you get into the game, and that's when the fast-paced battle happens, where your deck shuffles and you make your choices based on what cards out of your deck came available to you in that round, who you're going to deploy based on what mana you have, what classes are available, and how many characters you can deploy. So round 1, you can deploy 3 people. Round 2 is 3. Round 3 is 4, and then 4. And then round 5 is 5 characters. So it kind of increases in intensity, and your mana bar, you have to manage that. And so, so it's going to be really fun. Then once the battle begins, it's about 15 to 20 seconds of auto battling with a lot of cool sounds and noises and crazy stuff happening. As you see, did my plan work out? Was it smart to put this guy in front of this guy and this guy over here and this combination of classes together? And then the match ends. And if you win, your avatar levels up a little bit, right? And get some experience points. And obviously every level, there's chests that you open. And that's when you get into kind of the NFT creation. So we're going to have crafting for weaponry. We're going to have crafting for armor that your avatar wears. And we're going to have breeding of pets. And all 3 of those pieces, armor, weapons, and pets, they all affect your deck dynamically as you change them out. So there'll be a ton of strategy, but it'll be very simple as well in the initial learning curve, I guess you can. We're really trying to make this very player friendly, even though it obviously may sound kind of complicated. So yeah, it's gonna be really fun.
So, and as you're saying with these weapons and armor that the avatars, your heroes, will be holding, are these also NFTs? These weapons and armor? Are they? Yeah. So you'll be able to trade them. Yeah. So there's assets that you'll be getting in the game. There's actually more than this list, but for now, what we're talking about is you'll have your hero cards themselves, and they will be NFTs. The one that you earn in the game, and the ones that you can purchase during our card sale packs, almost like how Gods Unchained, Splinterlands, those games have released packs of cards. We're gonna have our first hero card sale happens in about a month and a bit, and it's a whitelisted sale of first edition heroes that are only available to avatar holders. So that's one of the benefits of, if you're listening to this now and you're like, this sounds awesome, go grab 1 or 41 avatars and get ready, right? So you're going to be able to buy a lot of cards. I mean, way more than you need, of course. And obviously, you're probably not thinking, I want 41 active game accounts. You're probably viewing this from a slightly different perspective. But, you'll have probably 10 packs of cards with 5 heroes in each allocated to you over the next 3 whitelist drops per avatar. So 10 times 41. So quite a lot of packs of cards. But, first edition cards typically do fairly well on resale value over time, especially if the game becomes very popular. So, you'll probably be happy with, those choices. And so anyway, but yeah, so the NFTs in the game will be the hero cards themselves, the ones that are earned, not the free ones, and then the ones that are purchased. And those will be able to be brought into the game, and you'll have them in your deck available to build your deck. You will be able to set up rental decks. That's another concept if you actually want to work in our whole kind of scholarship rental system, very similar to Axie. So if you have an abundance of cards, and instead of selling your cards, you want to go ahead and make them into a rental deck, you'll be able to do that system, and there'll be obviously more details on that coming in the future. And then the other NFTs are the crafted weapons, the crafted armor, and the pets. And there'll be other components that are used to craft, and those will be NFTs as well. So you'll have maybe a magic essence and a steel ignot or whatever you call it, right? And you go together to create a weapon. And we'll have a burn mechanic where you can destroy a weapon to use it to reclaim some of the ingredients used in the creation of that, and then use it to make a more powerful one. So there'll be a lot of really cool progression ways to make things. And then, some players, for instance, might find a really rare blueprint of a dagger for like a legendary dagger, 1 of 10 in the world, right? In the game world. And he might say, well, okay, I have 2 choices. Do I now go create a full rogue deck and just experience the fun of this rogue deck? I've always played with a mage or let's say a mage warrior deck. Rogues have never been something I looked at. I don't have that many rogues in my collection, but maybe I should go look on the market and see who's selling some heroes, and I'll scoop up some great rogues and make a rogue deck to use with this new weapon that I'm about to craft. Or maybe he says, let me just sell the blueprint because it's a legendary blueprint, and there's bound to be somebody out there
who has the sickest rogue deck, but he doesn't have a legendary weapon for his avatar to give the highest level bonus to all his rogues. I'm going to go ahead and sell this. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
In the past, game studios, the profit model of most game studios the Lad City guys talked about this today. The profit model is that the only profit goes to the studio, that's the profit model, right? It's a one-way street. Whereas play to earn gaming, I think what's so beautiful about that is that if you are willing to invest your time and you pick good games to play, new players come in, and, there's players like me that I don't have a lot of free time to play games. So if I'm going to play a game, I don't mind spending money. I don't mind grabbing $100 a month, $200 a month, and putting that into a game, because time is my limited resource more than money is. So, and what's beautiful about what we're going to do is that, and what just play to earn gaming in general is doing, is that it's allowing the players to benefit from their time invested, and basically, transfer their valuable assets to other players in exchange for something that's valuable to them. And that's all happening in this game that we created, and I just think it's a better model that in the end, the studios will let you win out because players will play for much longer. They'll invest more time. I think player bases won't die overnight like they do in some of these big titles, because players will be like, I'm invested in this. I love this, So yeah, I'm excited about it.
And I really love that fact that the emphasis is on your players owning the assets. So we actually control essentially the supply. So I think that's just an amazing aspect.
Yes.
Yeah. So moving forward, how finished is the Bloodline game in terms of like the scope of the game mechanics and the game itself?
So we're very early in the actual development of the game itself. We've, a lot of the concept art, has been fleshed out. The actual like mechanics of the game, a lot of that has been already kind of like talked through and, as best we can decided until we're actually, doing it, right? We're lucky to have some really smart people with pretty, hefty game backgrounds in our team, and so an advisory board. Guys with years and years and years of gaming and studio experience. And so we've been able to kind of flesh out a lot of those pieces. There's a couple key components that we want to get down before we're able to, kind of release every mechanic and every single thing that we're doing. But it's a lot of that is laid out. We are at the same time, because we're building the game with the community, we're not like, no portion of the game is locked 100% in stone where it can never be altered by the opinion of the community, because I plan to be true to my word that we are really going to build this game with the community, that if we get in there and they have an idea on a mechanic, or like, hey, this would really improve this, like actually just recently with our avatars, we had one of our holders come up with an idea that we actually just announced today earlier on with the Lad City guys, an idea for how we give long-term value to the avatars once you've minted your whitelist cards, once you've purchased your, the token, and any of the other benefits. Like, how do we make sure that our avatars don't just lose their utility? They're obviously a skin in the game, like you mentioned, but like beyond that, what other value do I have in holding on to your 41 avatars? Like, why should you hold them? And so, we just announced, and this was an idea from a community member. This is an idea from the dev squad, that we should offer staking of these avatars into the game, and that they get to participate in the rewards pool of the token staking. So just like Illuvium, we're following that Illuvium model with our master token, where there's a DAO that actually really controls the company. It's a decentralized organization company, right? We're not, I might be the founder, but I'm basically going to hand over the control of the company to the DAO. And obviously we'll be a big part of that DAO, of course, to direct this. You can't just have nobody driving steering the ship. But at the same time, we really want this to be a community owned and run and governed product and game and studio, really. And so what we'll do is we'll form the DAO. The token will be the voting rights in the DAO. So owning a Koin token when it's released will give you voting rights in that DAO. And anytime we're coming up on a major decision, anytime we need to do something, even the allocation of how funds are used, that's going to be decided by the DAO. The company itself will obviously hold a portion of the tokens, so that we have a say in a lot of this as well. And between us and the community, we'll come up with this idea. But one of the ideas just recently was that, we plan to have a rewards staking pool. So once you have the Koin Games token, you'll be able to stake it, lock it up for 6 months, lock it up for a year, and then get more tokens for free in return, right? How typical staking works. So we've actually decided that avatar holders will actually be able to participate in that pool by simply staking their avatar. And their avatar will actually represent an amount of tokens. So just for like conversation's sake, let's pretend your 41 avatars are given a value of 1,000 tokens per avatar. So it's almost like you have 41,000 tokens. Yep. 41,000 tokens that you can then stake, and you can stake them forever, because there's no really, unless you want to sell them for a profit or whatever, you can just stake them in the rewards pool. Now, obviously, the rewards pool will adjust over time, just like it has with the Luvium. They rebalance every day or every month or whatever. There'll always be tokens being refilled but from the DAO. So one of the things that anyone who owns a token will be able to do a command on a contract, and they'll be able to get the vault that will hold the gross profits of the company to buy back our own token, which refills a portion of the rewards pool and the staking pool, or the tournament pool and the staking pool. So yeah, it's gonna be really fun, because we truly will own and build the game with the community, and I want to leave room for that. So really nothing is ever set in stone with this. It is flexible, and I believe that the best product is made with there's wisdom, wisdom and counsel, the Bible says. And so it's like a statement that, hey, if you've got a lot of people, obviously you can have too many cooks in the kitchen. We will make the final decisions on these things that we feel is best for the game and the economy and our community. But at the same time, we're open to the influence of our fans and our players, which is going to be, I think, awesome, and bring the best overall product to the market. So, yeah.
I think it's really important incorporating a community. I've heard a lot of, I personally have been a part of many games in the whole development cycle, like one of the games, Artifact by Steam. I was a part of the development of that. And then I spent $20 on the game, got some cards, then they just completely stopped the development of the game. And so now I'm left with these cards that I can't even sell. So, so for me, it's great if the community has a say, or some kind of say input into the game. It makes it way more personable for the individuals who are actually participating in the game. Yeah. So there's more invested interest. Yeah, for sure.
I saw 2 days ago, one of our guys, he's like, dude, this is so cool. I got to name 2 of the heroes so far. Like, we've done about 15 heroes names so far out of the 30 that are coming up for launch soon. And, he suggested 2 of the names that have ended up being picked by the community. And you could just tell there was a sense of pride in the way that he just was like, dude, this is so awesome. This is epic. I named 2 characters that are going to be in a video game, And so why keep the fun experience to ourselves? But it's going to be fun.
So, and you were talking about having money on the treasury. Is that some of the money in the treasury that's going to go towards maybe the competitive side, like an esports? Is that in the works? An esports type of deal?
So we plan on having, even like from the get-go, we're going to have these different pools that involve the community. One will be a staking pool. One will be like a tournament pool. So prizes for, competitive play, and as well as just rewards for being active, giving back to the community, all those things. And so those will be the primary 2 pools that get refilled with our governance token when there's profits that have come into the company. So as we do another hero card sale, or as we collect the fees where players are transacting on the marketplace back and forth, those profits roll back into this vault, and the vault is entirely controlled by the DAO. So it's not controlled by us, it's controlled by the players. And they can, at any time they want, anyone with even 1 token has the ability to execute on the contract and tell the vault to buy back our token from like the Uniswap liquidity pool. So it's really cool, And then that automatically based on the voted percentages, will refill those different pools that help the company operate, give us money to use for tournaments, give us money to refill the staking rewards pool so that there's always an incentive to lock up your tokens. So yeah, it's a really cool model. It's also really good from a legal standpoint because we're not the ones controlling it. It's literally a decentralized organization that has say and control over this. They're the ones deciding when to buy, what to do with the money, how to vote. It's a true governance token. It's not some token where some of these games, they're kind of involving their governance token in the game. And I think it gets a little bit muddy from a legal standpoint long term, whereas we're making clear defined lines. You have an in-game consumable token that's strictly for consumable purposes, using it on tournaments and skins and the creation of NFTs and all that. Obviously, you can do what you want with your NFTs. That's up to you. And then finally, you've got the other side of the coin, which is the governance, which is strictly governance. So yeah, we're really happy with the way our tokenomics model. We brought on a lot of advisors in this area to make sure we get it right. So it's going to be really good.
Is there anything that's really exciting you that's next that you want to talk about as well?
Yeah, so I guess the next big event is our hero card drop, right? So we've been in development now of our actual heroes that will go in the game. So obviously, when people come in, they see our avatar and they almost get confused, like, is this guy in the video game? Your avatar will be a skin in the video game, right? So you can run around the little open world area that we're going to develop, and you'll be able to have that cool, OG skin that shows I'm one of the 5,555 people that backed this game in the early days. I was early, I'm an OG, but outside of that, the actual avatar doesn't really, that skin itself doesn't have a lot of, you won't see it super often in the actual game itself, because even when you go into battle, you'll want to equip armor or whatever that affects your deck. But that being said, what we have coming is the first heroes. So essentially, this first drop is our Nature clan and our Storm clan. So we have Nature versus Storm. The one after that will be Fire and Ice. And then the last one will be Light and Dark. So we have 6 clans, 3 different drops. And initially, there'll be 15 heroes for each clan that are going to be dropped in this first drop. So we'll have 30 heroes total. They'll be randomly shuffled. We're actually talking to Chainlink about using their randomization, on-chain randomization technology that they've built out to kind of be the backbone, so you can verify that it was done entirely random. And we'll randomize the 30 heroes in their 5 different rarities. So technically, it's 150 different cards in this first drop. Wow. Between the 5 rarities and 30 heroes. Those will be then randomized by the thousands into these packs of cards, and each pack will contain 5 heroes. And it's going to be a fun experience, just like opening this nostalgia of like a traditional Pokemon pack, but it's all digital. And you'll get to see what heroes did I get, and those heroes will work in the game. So if you hold on to them all the way through to the actual main game, you'll load in and you'll have first edition heroes. We're still deciding exactly how, but our first editions will be noticeably different in the game itself. So you'll actually be able to tell the difference between a first edition, let's call it Ice Warrior, the guy with the big axe. You'll be able to tell the difference between him and the public version of him that you could get as maybe a free to play or that you earn over time. So there'll be a distinct difference. Again, kind of a flex component to owning first edition hero cards. So that's what comes next, and that's the beginning of January. We don't have the exact day, so you can stay tuned, but it'll be somewhere in those first 2 weeks of January that we're dropping that. And so those will be $15 per pack of 5 heroes. So we're trying to make it obviously super affordable to grab a couple packs. And every avatar holder gets an allocation of 3 packs per avatar they hold for this first drop. Then when we drop Fire and Ice, it'll be 3 packs again. When we drop Light and Dark, it'll be 3 packs again. And then we'll likely have 1 bonus pack like right before the release of the game, rounding out 10 kind of packs per avatar. So for those that hear this interview and jump on it quick, if they grab a couple avatars, they won't have missed out on any of those things. They'll have the first edition one, then in about half a year, another one, then towards the end of next year, the 3rd one. So that's kind of what we have next. And then obviously we also have the creation of our actual governance token, and so we'll be doing that in about a month and a half as well.
So shortly after the drop of the OG founder cards, we'll see the
Yes.
ICO round. Is that correct?
Yeah. So for us, it's a kind of just a I don't even know if it technically is considered an ICO, but yeah, the release of the governance token, right?
Release of governance.
Yeah. So, but we will have a kind of a section where we're talking to our strategic partners, and we'll have them, and then we'll have the one with the community not long after that. Mm-hmm. We're not going to kind of sandwich them on top of each other. We want to make sure that it's done, the right way. But so that's also coming up in the new year as well.
Yeah.
And then we do have the actual founders card. So we have the first edition hero cards, and then there's one founders card that's being given for free to every avatar holder. That's kind of the first OG hero. He's going to be a standalone card that you get to mint for free just by being a holder. So whoever the holders are, the day we launch him, you'll be able to go on the website. There will be a randomness behind the scenes to which one you get, because obviously we still have the 5 rarities, and we'll use likely Chainlink to do that. And then so that's either coming right before the hero drop or right after. We're still kind of working on how to position those two in relation to each other. But so a ton of stuff coming up for our holders. Yeah.
So if there's anything else that you would like to talk about before we wrap the interview up, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think for me, just to wrap it up, I would say that I just overall feel very lucky to be a part of this amazing, evolving industry. It's the way I would relate it is it's like finding a substance on Earth that you're very early in discovering it, and it's going to be super valuable in 5, 10, 15 years, and yet so few people have recognized what you have, and those that have recognized it, most of them are honestly really good people that just want to work together to bring new people in. They're not, these greedy people that are just trying to get as much of it as they can. And so I don't know, I feel like really fortunate to know that I'm on the edge of a brand new era of gaming and collectibles and NFTs, that the barrier to entry is just so high right now, even from a usability standpoint. Like to go buy an NFT is just not easy. There's so many steps. And even just the thing of when Coinbase makes it available right in their own platform, where you can take your cryptocurrency earnings and just grab some avatars, that alone will bring in, I think, millions of new people into the space. And then when good games like the one we're going to build start to come out, and people realize, wait, there's this really good game I can play that is in a genre that I'm hyped about, and then on top of that game, I can own my own assets, and there's a token inside of it that I could trade to other players for other things that give me value. Like, I think we're just going to see, kind of a new era in gaming as well that's valuable to the player. And so in the end, just like Uber is a better version of the taxi cab, and Uber Eats is a great way to get dinner, and, Airbnb is a lot of times a better experience than hotels. This is going to be a better version of gaming. And so ultimately, it's going to have to figure out a lot of things. It's going to be a little bit of a bumpy road, and you got to be down for the roller coaster if you're getting in now, because it's the wild, wild west for sure. But man, it's so cool to be a part of something that is going to be so big in 5, 10, 15 years. And so, yeah, I'm just excited to be a part of it, to be honest. And I'm so loving building the game with our people. And yeah, to anyone listening, welcome to the Dev Squad. Grab your avatar if you want to join us on this journey. Come be a part of not just helping create the game, but be a part of the DAO and own the company that's creating the game for future games. We'll literally vote with the DAO on what's the next game you want us to go build. How cool is that? So decentralized game ownership, and it's going to be amazing 10 to 15 years together. So yeah, for those that want to, the way to join is go in OpenSea, grab. Make sure you go to the verified collection of Koin Games Dev Squad.
I'll have the link in the description. I'll put the link in the description. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And yeah, grab one. Make sure you verify yourself in Discord so that you can access the private area. We've got a pretty awesome Koin and NFT alpha chats in there too for people that want to learn more about NFTs. So if you're brand new and we have a lot of first-time NFT owners in our community. And since then, they've gone on to buy a bunch of other stuff. My brother actually, dude, this is crazy. Month and a half ago, he gets into Neo Tokyo, for free. I help him.
Wow.
I helped him get his identity. I missed mine by about 4 seconds, like
Wow.
literally. Yes, I got him his, and to this morning he cashed out. He made a decision. I bought in actually, so now I'm, on behalf of Koin Games, I'm a part of Neo Tokyo, which is so exciting because it's such a cool community. Becker and Elio are just geniuses, and I really like those guys a lot. And anyway, but my brother sold his today, and it's $180,000 that he made from
That's amazing.
a free NFT over the course of a month and a bit. So just incredible, incredible. So yeah, it's so exciting. It's such a cool time to be alive. Such a fun space to be in. So yeah, and thank you for having me on the show. And I know you mentioned in between the break that you want me to come on and just chat and just do more of a personal thing. And I'm excited to do that too, to get to get to know each other more. So yeah, let's do it.
I just want to thank Tim for coming on to the interview today. I appreciate it so much. Thanks guys for watching. If you made it to the end, I appreciate it a lot as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.